You have been disrespected. Someone looked at you and decided you were not worthy of their respect. They dismissed you. They mocked you. They undermined you in front of others. And in that moment, something inside you burned. You wanted to react. You wanted to explode. You wanted to show them exactly who they were dealing with. But here is what separates the powerful from the powerless. The powerful do not react. They respond. And there is a difference that most people will never understand. Niccolò Machiavelli understood this over 500 years ago. He watched princes rise and fall. He studied the ruthless and the weak. He documented exactly how power works in a world that does not care about your feelings. And today, I am going to hand you that knowledge, plus something more. Something that the greatest strategists of the last 500 years have kept hidden. Something that will transform how you see disrespect forever. This is not about revenge. This is about transformation. By the end of this monologue, you will see disrespect differently. You will handle it differently. You will become the kind of person who cannot be touched by the words and actions of lesser minds. So sit down, lock in, and listen carefully. Because what you are about to learn will change the way you move through this world forever. Before you can conquer disrespect, you must understand what it truly is. Disrespect is not about you. It never was. Disrespect is a test. It is a probe sent out by people who are uncertain of their own position. They push against you to see what you are made of. They want to know if you are someone to fear or someone to dominate. Machiavelli understood that men are constantly measuring each other. Every room you enter is a battlefield of invisible hierarchies. People are watching. They are calculating. And the moment they sense weakness, they will exploit it without hesitation. This is human nature. Stripped of its polite disguise. Now, here is the truth most people refuse to accept. When someone disrespects you, they are revealing their own insecurity. They are showing you that they feel threatened by your presence. A man who is secure in his power does not waste energy tearing others down. He has nothing to prove. But the insecure, the envious, the small-minded, they cannot help themselves. Your existence irritates them. Your potential haunts them. So they strike first, hoping to cut you down before you rise above them. There is a darker truth here, one that the ancient philosophers understood but rarely spoke aloud. Envy is the most dangerous emotion in human affairs. It is quiet. It hides behind smiles and compliments. But it is deadly. When you achieve something, when you start to rise, you create enemies without doing anything wrong. Your very success becomes a mirror that reflects other people's failures. And most people cannot handle that reflection. They would rather break the mirror than face themselves. This is why the powerful are always careful about who they let into their inner circle. They know that envy is like acid, it eats through relationships, through trust, through loyalty. They watch for the subtle signs, the backhanded compliments, the delayed congratulations, the friends who disappear when you win too much. Recognize these patterns. Understand that disrespect often comes not from your weaknesses, but from your strengths. When someone attacks you, ask yourself, what about me threatens them? The answer will tell you everything. This is why you must never take disrespect personally. The moment you do, you have lost. You have handed them the emotional reaction they were hunting for. You have confirmed that their words have power over you. And in the game of power, perception is everything. Machiavelli wrote that it is better to be feared than loved. But what he truly meant was this: it is better to be unreadable than predictable. When people cannot figure you out, they hesitate. When they hesitate, you control the frame. Disrespect is a test. And you are about to learn how to pass it every single time. Let me show you exactly what weakness looks like. A weak man gets disrespected and he explodes. His face turns red. His voice rises. His body tenses up like a child about to throw a tantrum. He thinks he is defending his honor. He thinks he is showing strength. But everyone watching sees the truth. They see a man who has lost control. They see a man whose emotions can be hijacked by anyone bold enough to push his buttons. This is the trap. And most men fall into it without even realizing what happened. The weak man believes that anger is power. He confuses volume with dominance. He thinks that if he shouts louder or threatens harder, he will regain respect. But the opposite occurs. Every emotional outburst is a confession. It tells the world that you are fragile. It tells your enemies exactly how to defeat you. All they have to do is provoke you, and you will destroy yourself. Machiavelli warned against this centuries ago. He wrote that a prince must never act out of passion. Passion blinds you. Passion makes you predictable. And predictability is death in the arena of power. There is a deeper layer here, one that modern psychology has only recently confirmed. Human beings are not rational creatures. We like to think we are. We like to believe that our decisions are logical, that our responses are measured. But the truth is darker. We are ruled by emotions, by ancient circuits in our brains that evolved on the savannah, not in boardrooms. When you are disrespected, your brain triggers the same response as if you were physically attacked. Your heart rate spikes. Your cortisol rises. Your fight-or-flight mechanism engages. The weak man surrenders to this biology. He becomes an animal, reacting without thought, without strategy. He says things he regrets. He makes decisions he cannot undo. And hours later, when the adrenaline fades, he is left with nothing but shame and consequences. The powerful man does something different. He feels the same surge. The same anger. The same primal urge to strike back. But he has trained himself to pause. To breathe. To let the first wave pass. He knows that the first reaction is always the animal reaction. And he refuses to let an animal run his life. This is what separates the few from the many. Not the absence of emotion, but the mastery of it. The weak man also makes another fatal mistake. He responds immediately. He cannot wait. He cannot pause. He cannot let the moment breathe. So he fires back with whatever comes to mind first, usually something foolish, something he will regret, something that makes him look smaller than he did before. Time is a weapon, and the weak man does not know how to use it. He gives away his power in seconds because he cannot tolerate the discomfort of restraint. This is why most men stay powerless their entire lives. They are slaves to their reactions. But you will be different. You are going to learn another way. Now, let me introduce you to a different kind of man. A man who operates on a level most people cannot comprehend. This is the strategist. The one who sees disrespect and feels nothing. Not because he is numb. Not because he does not notice. But because he has trained himself to separate emotion from strategy. While others react, he calculates. While others burn, he observes. He asks himself one simple question: what is the most advantageous move I can make right now? This is cold psychology. This is how emperors think. This is how men who shape history operate when the world tries to provoke them. The strategist understands that emotions are data, not commands. He feels anger rise inside him. He acknowledges it. And then he sets it aside like a tool he does not need at this moment. He refuses to let temporary feelings dictate permanent decisions. This is mastery. This is what separates kings from peasants. There is an ancient technique, used by warriors and philosophers alike. It is called becoming the detached observer. Imagine that you are standing outside yourself. Imagine that you are watching your own body, your own emotions, from a distance. You see the anger rise. You see the tension in your shoulders. You see the thoughts racing through your mind. But you are not those things. You are the one watching. You are the awareness behind the thoughts. When you cultivate this distance, something remarkable happens. The emotions lose their power. They become clouds passing through a vast sky, present, yes, but not permanent. Not defining. The weak man is lost in the clouds. The powerful man watches them drift by. This is not about suppressing your feelings. Suppression is dangerous, it builds pressure until you eventually explode. This is about observation. About recognizing that you are not your anger. You are not your hurt. You are the one who chooses how to respond. Emotional detachment is not weakness. It is the ultimate weapon. When you detach from the need to react, you gain something most men never possess. You gain options. You can choose to respond. You can choose to ignore. You can choose to wait and strike later when the moment serves you. The strategist is never forced into action. He acts on his own terms, his own timeline, his own battlefield. And here is what makes this mindset terrifying to others. They cannot read him. They throw insults, nothing. They spread rumors, silence. They try to humiliate him, he smiles and walks away. This unpredictability creates fear. It creates doubt. It makes people wonder what he knows that they do not. And that wondering is where his power lies. You are not here to react. You are here to rule. So start thinking like someone who already does. There is a weapon most men are too afraid to use. It costs nothing. It requires no physical strength. Yet it can break a man faster than any insult ever could. That weapon is silence. When someone disrespects you and you say nothing, something shifts in the room. The air changes. Tension builds. And the person who attacked you suddenly feels exposed. They expected a reaction. They prepared for a fight. But you gave them nothing. And now they are standing alone in the chaos they created, looking foolish. Silence is dominance because it refuses to validate the attack. It says without words that this person is not worth your energy. It communicates that their opinion holds no weight in your world. And that realization destroys people more than any comeback ever could. There is a reason why the most powerful people in history spoke less than those around them. They understood something fundamental about human psychology. When you speak, you reveal. You reveal your thoughts, your feelings, your weaknesses. You give others information they can use against you. The more you talk, the more you expose. But silence? Silence reveals nothing. It creates a void that the other person feels compelled to fill. And in their attempt to fill that void, they reveal themselves. Their insecurities. Their motives. Their next move. This is why interrogators use silence. This is why great negotiators let pauses hang in the air. They know that most people cannot tolerate silence. They will say anything, to break it. Let them. Machiavelli knew that powerful men control the frame of every interaction. The frame is the invisible structure that determines who holds power in any exchange. When someone disrespects you and you explode, they control the frame. You are now dancing to their rhythm. But when you remain silent, you snatch the frame away from them. You force them to wonder. You force them to doubt. You make them replay the moment over and over, asking themselves what you are planning. This is psychological warfare without firing a single shot. There is another layer to this. Sometimes silence is not enough. Sometimes you must respond, but the response must be so cold, so detached, that it hits harder than any insult. Imagine this: someone attacks you publicly. They expect you to defend yourself. Instead, you look at them with genuine curiosity, the way you might look at a child having a tantrum. And then you say, calmly, "Are you finished?" That's it. 3 words. No anger. No defense. Just a question that reframes everything. In that moment, you are no longer the defendant. You are the judge. You are the adult in the room. And they are the child who has embarrassed themselves. This is devastating because it communicates something far worse than anger. It communicates that they are beneath you. That their attack was so insignificant that you couldn't even muster the energy to be offended. Master this. Let your silence speak, and when you must speak, let your words be few and cold. Silence is powerful. But let me be clear about something. Silence does not mean surrender. There are moments when retaliation is necessary. There are moments when an example must be made. The difference between a weak man and a strategist is not whether they strike back. It is how and when they do it. The weak man retaliates immediately, emotionally, sloppily. He swings wild and misses. He makes himself look unhinged. The strategist waits. He watches. He calculates. And when he finally moves, the strike is so precise, so devastating, that no one dares to cross him again. Timing is everything. Machiavelli wrote that a wise prince never takes revenge while angry. Anger clouds judgment. It makes you rush. It makes you reveal your cards too early. But when you wait, you gain clarity. You see openings that were invisible before. You identify the perfect moment to act. When your enemy has lowered their guard. When they think the conflict is forgotten. That is when you strike. And when you do strike, it must be decisive. Half measures are for cowards. There is a principle that the greatest generals have always understood: when you commit to a conflict, commit fully. Leave nothing to chance. Leave your enemy no room to recover, no path to revenge. If someone has disrespected you publicly and a response is required, your retaliation must send a message, not just to them, but to everyone watching. You are not cruel for the sake of cruelty. You are establishing a precedent. You are teaching the world what happens when someone crosses you. This is how you build a reputation that protects you long after the conflict ends. But here is the part most people miss. Strategic retaliation is not always loud. Sometimes it is quiet. Sometimes it is simply removing your presence, your support, your resources from someone who wronged you. You let them fail without your help. You watch from a distance as their life crumbles because you are no longer holding it together. This is cold. This is calculated. And this is exactly how powerful people operate. They do not announce their revenge. They execute it in silence. And by the time their enemy realizes what happened, it is already too late. The most devastating retaliation is the one that happens years later. Imagine this: someone humiliates you. You say nothing. You walk away. They think they have won. They forget about you. But you do not forget. You work. You build. You become something greater than they could ever imagine. And one day, years later, you cross paths again. Only now, you are successful, powerful, respected. And they are exactly where they were, stuck, bitter, irrelevant. They look at you and realize, you didn't need to destroy them. You simply outgrew them. And in that moment, they understand that their disrespect meant nothing. It was a footnote in a story they could never touch. That is the ultimate victory. Not revenge, but irrelevance. You become so far above them that they no longer exist in your world. Revenge is a dish best served cold, but only if you have the patience to let it freeze. There is something more brutal than anger. More devastating than revenge. More terrifying than any threat you could ever make. It is indifference. True, cold, unshakable indifference. When someone disrespects you and you genuinely do not care, you have reached a level of power that most people will never touch. This is not pretending to be unbothered. This is not faking calmness while rage boils inside you. This is the real thing. A state of mind where the opinions and actions of small people simply cannot reach you. They exist beneath your attention. And that is the most insulting thing you can ever communicate to someone. Indifference says, "You are irrelevant to me." It says, "Your words have no weight. Your existence has no impact. You are a background character in my story, and I do not even remember your name." This destroys people, especially those who attacked you hoping for a reaction. They wanted to feel significant. They wanted to matter to you, even if only as an enemy. But you denied them even that. You looked through them like glass. You moved on like they never existed. And now they are haunted by their own insignificance. There is a hidden truth about human psychology that explains why indifference is so powerful. Attention is currency. Whatever you focus on, you give power to. When you argue with fools, you elevate them to your level. When you defend yourself against every accusation, you legitimize the accusers. When you get angry at every insult, you announce that their opinion matters. But when you remain indifferent, you starve them. You cut off their oxygen. You let them scream into the void while you build your empire in peace. This is how you become untouchable. Not by fighting every battle, but by choosing which. Battles deserve your energy. Most do not. Most conflicts are distractions designed to pull you away from your purpose. The powerful recognize this. They refuse to be derailed by people who will not matter in 5 years, 5 months, or even 5 days. Cultivating indifference takes practice. Your ego will resist it. Your pride will scream for you to respond, to defend, to prove yourself. But you must train yourself to override those impulses. Ask yourself one question whenever disrespect comes your way: will this matter in the long run? If the answer is no, move on without a second thought. Protect your energy like it is gold. Because it is. Every moment you spend seething over an insult is a moment you are not building, not creating, not becoming. The weak man wastes his energy on people who do not matter. The powerful man conserves his energy for what matters most. The indifferent man cannot be manipulated. He cannot be baited. He cannot be controlled. And that makes him the most dangerous man in any room. The most powerful form of defense is one you never have to use. It is a reputation so solid, so unshakable, that people think twice before they even consider disrespecting you. This is the level you must aim for. Not constantly fighting battles, but building yourself into someone who rarely has to fight at all. Machiavelli wrote extensively about reputation. He understood that perception often matters more than reality. It does not matter what you are capable of if no one believes it. But when the world believes you are dangerous, competent, and unforgiving, they will hesitate to cross you. Your reputation walks into the room before you do. It fights battles while you sleep. It protects you without lifting a finger. So how do you build this kind of reputation? First, you must become excellent at something. Power respects competence. When you are undeniably great at what you do, people cannot dismiss you. They might hate you. They might envy you. But they cannot ignore you. Your skill becomes your armor. It forces even your enemies to acknowledge your value. This is why you must never stop sharpening yourself. Every book you read, every skill you master, every obstacle you overcome adds another layer to your untouchable reputation. Second, you must be consistent. People are always watching. They remember how you handled pressure. They remember if you broke or stood tall. Every interaction is a deposit into your reputation bank. If you crumble once, that moment will follow you. But if you remain composed under fire again and again, people will learn that you cannot be rattled. Consistency builds trust in your strength. And that trust becomes your shield. Third, you must be willing to enforce boundaries. A reputation means nothing if you do not defend it when tested. There will come moments when someone pushes too far. And in those moments, you must act decisively, not emotionally, not recklessly, but firmly. You must show the world that crossing you has consequences. Once people see that you follow through, they will stop testing you. The risk will not be worth the reward. Fourth, you must control your narrative. Do not let others define you. In the age of noise and gossip, people will try to paint you in whatever light serves them. You must actively shape how you are perceived. This does not mean bragging or seeking validation. It means moving strategically, aligning yourself with the right people, letting your actions speak in ways that reinforce the image you want to project. Powerful men are architects of their own story. They do not leave their reputation to chance. Finally, you must embrace mystery. Do not reveal everything about yourself. Do not explain your every move. Let people wonder. Let them guess. The unknown is intimidating. When people cannot fully figure you out, they tread carefully around you. They assume you know more than you show. They assume you are capable of more than you reveal. And that assumption protects you more than any display of force ever could. Build your reputation brick by brick, day by day, decision by decision. Make yourself into someone that others respect before they even speak to you. This is the true path to becoming untouchable. When your name alone commands respect, disrespect becomes a rare and foolish act that only the ignorant attempt at. If you want to master power, you must understand the darkness within human nature. Most people live in a fantasy. They believe others are kind, fair, and rational. They trust too easily. They forgive too quickly. And they get destroyed by those who see the world for what it truly is. You cannot afford this naivety. Machiavelli did not write for dreamers. He wrote for realists. For men willing to see the ugliness of human behavior and use it to their advantage. Let me show you what lies beneath the surface. First, people are driven by self-interest. Always. Even when they appear generous, there is a calculation behind it. They want something: approval, status, future favors. This is not cynicism. This is observation. When you understand that everyone is playing a game, you stop being a pawn. You start seeing moves before they happen. You start asking the real question: what does this person want from me? That awareness alone puts you ahead of most. Second, envy is the silent killer of relationships. People will smile at your success while plotting your downfall. They will congratulate you with words and curse you in their hearts. The more you rise, the more threats you create. Not because you did anything wrong, but because your success reminds others of their own failures. This is why powerful men keep their circles small. They trust actions over words. They watch for the subtle signs of jealousy, the backhanded compliments, the delayed support, the friends who disappear when you win too much. Recognize these patterns and protect yourself accordingly. Third, fear is a more reliable tool than love. Machiavelli was clear about this. Love is conditional. It fades when convenience demands it. But fear lingers. It stays in the mind. It controls behavior even when you are not present. This does not mean you must terrorize people. It means you must be someone who cannot be crossed without consequence. When people fear your response, they regulate themselves. They think twice. They show respect not because they admire you, but because they understand the cost of disrespect. Fourth, people reveal themselves when they think they have power over you. Pay attention to how someone treats you when they believe you need them. Watch how they behave when they think you are weak or desperate. That is their true character. The mask only stays on when they see you as a threat. Use this knowledge. Test people by appearing vulnerable and observe who tries to exploit you. Those are your enemies wearing friendly faces. Fifth, perception shapes reality. What people believe about you matters more than what is true. Control the narrative. Plant seeds of doubt in your enemies. Let rumors of your power spread without confirmation. Let people imagine what you might be capable of. Their imaginations will always be more vivid than anything you could demonstrate. This is dark psychology. Not manipulation for cruelty, but understanding the hidden forces that drive people so that you can never be caught off guard again. The world rewards those who understand its true nature. Now you have that understanding. Use it wisely, and without mercy when mercy would cost you everything. You have made it to the end. But this is not really an ending. This is your beginning. Everything I have shared with you is worthless if you do not apply it. Knowledge without action is just entertainment. And you did not come here to be entertained. You came here to be transformed. So, let me leave you with your final command. Become the man who cannot be touched. Not because you hide from the world, but because you have built yourself into something the world cannot break. There is one final truth that few people ever realize. The ultimate power is not in controlling others. It is in controlling yourself. When you master your emotions, your reactions, your impulses, you become free. No one can bait you. No one can manipulate you. No one can make you dance to their rhythm. You are the master of your own mind. And from that mastery flows everything else. The respect of others. The reputation that protects you. The ability to strike when the time is right. The indifference that confuses your enemies. The silence that speaks volumes. This is your mission now. Every day you must work on yourself, your mind, your skills, your emotional control, your reputation. Every single day, without exception. The weak take days off. The powerful understand that growth never stops. You are in a war, not with others, but with the old version of yourself. The version that reacted emotionally. The version that gave power away to anyone who provoked him. The version that cared too much about the opinions of people who did not matter. That man must die so that the new you can rise. Kill him with discipline. Kill him with silence. Kill him with relentless self-improvement. From this moment forward, you will handle disrespect differently. You will not explode. You will not crumble. You will not give anyone the satisfaction of seeing you lose control. Instead, you will pause. You will breathe. You will observe. And you will choose your response like a chess master choosing his next move, calculated, precise, devastating only when necessary. You will build a reputation that makes people think twice before they even look at you the wrong way. You will walk into rooms and command respect without saying a word. You will become the man others study and wonder about. How is he so calm? How is he so unshakable? How does nothing seem to affect him? Let them wonder. Let them guess. Let them fear what they cannot understand. Machiavelli gave us the blueprint centuries ago. The strategists who followed refined it. Human nature has not changed. The games people play have not changed. Only the arenas are different. But the principles remain eternal. Master them, and you master life itself. No one can save you. No one can do this work for you. Your parents cannot make you powerful. Your friends cannot give you strength. Your circumstances do not determine your destiny. Only you can decide what kind of man you will become. And that decision is made not once, but every single day, in every single moment when the world tests you. Will you react or will you respond? Will you break or will you bend and come back stronger? Will you stay a slave to your emotions or will you become the master of your fate? The choice is yours. It has always been yours. Now you simply have the tools to choose wisely. I want you to do something right now. In the comments below, write these words: I am untouchable. Not as a wish. Not as a hope. But as a declaration. A commitment to yourself and to the world that you are stepping into a new version of yourself today. Write it. And mean it. And if this message reached something inside you, if you felt something shift while listening, then do me a favor. Hit the like button. It costs you nothing, but it tells me that this content matters. That this work is reaching the right people. Subscribe to this channel if you have not already. We are building something here. A community of men who refuse to be weak. Who refuse to be ordinary. Who are committed to power, discipline, and self-mastery. Turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Every piece of content I release is designed to sharpen you, to prepare you for the battles ahead, to make you into someone who cannot be ignored, defeated, or forgotten. This is your path now. Walk it without fear. Walk it without hesitation. And never let anyone make you forget what you are becoming. I am untouchable. Now prove it.